Improv Tipsters, welcome back to Improv Tips, where I and some of the best improvisers in the world give you improv tips and advice to make you a better, more confident, and happier improviser wherever you are on your improv journey. I am, as always, your host, Paul Vaillancourt, and today I am bringing you an improviser that I have known for years and years, Rob Reese. Rob and I were on our first team, I think it was definitely mine, our first team together at I.O. in Chicago. This was like 100 years, a million years ago. Like the earth had just cooled and improvisers were coming up out of the primordial ooze, and Rob and I ended up on this team together. It was called Faulty Wiring, and that was our first team together. And now I really love Rob because we got to play together in our most formative stages, really figuring stuff out and go. And he has always been on fire for improv. And I'll also say, and I really do think this, he was so prescient about improv and kind of where it was going at the time, when teams were basically, everything was like within these, under the umbrella of big improv institutions or growing improv institutions. If you were a teacher or a coach, that's where you were a teacher or a coach, was under this umbrella. He looked outward, and I remember him creating, which at the time was like unheard of, like a trifold, like out of paper. This is where we were. We didn't have the internet really. Like a flyer to advertise his services as a teacher and a coach, just kind of freelance, which at the time was like no one was thinking that, but he knew, and he was way ahead of the game. And since then, he has done some really fantastic things in improv. Amnesia Wars is his big improv endeavor that's sort of sprung off through a bunch of other things, as well as creating and directing plays around the world. This kid works. And today he's bringing you an improv tip about the 4 horsemen of the improv apocalypse. And it's sort of related to this ding tip that I did about forbidden scenes. It's like traps we can get into and how to get out of them. It's really, I think, a really well thought out tip. There's also a longer video that he did in association with Amnesia Wars. And I will put the link ding down below if you want to sort of go deeper into his catalog of improv ideas. You can check that out, and that goes straight to that video from the link down below. I think that's about all I have to say about Rob Reese, other than I really dig this dude, and I think you're really going to dig him too. Right now, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Rob Reese.
Hello, tipsters. I'm Rob Reese, and my tip today is about how to deal with the 4 horsemen of the scenic apocalypse. And I'm going to start with my 2 caveats about the 4 horsemen. First is that none of these 4 elements are things that you don't already know are a problem in scene work. My whole point is about how to group them together and you can deal with them all in the same way. And the second is that the term apocalypse is just because it's a good phrase and there are 4 of them and it helps me remember 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But the apocalypse part of it is ridiculously overblown. In fact, the point of this tip is that getting into each of these circumstances is not the end of the world. The 4 horsemen of the scenic apocalypse for me are argument, teaching, problem solving, and negotiation. And of course, like I just said, you all know that all of these things are a problem to get into, but some of us have been beat down with these don't lists. Don't argue, don't get into a negotiation. And then if you do realize that you're in that situation, all you know to do is go into your head and try to fix what you've already done. So what's the problem with each of these that they have in common? The main problem that each of these scenarios have is that they feel like you're doing a thing. They feel like you're getting into a good scenic game because you can kind of see a couple moves ahead. If you start teaching with somebody or getting them to teach you, it's a real simple, but how do I fill this well with water? Well, you can grab the bucket here and you start telling each other what to do, and you can feel a couple moves, but then really the description I just laid out is the most interesting part of that sequence of events. If the scene goes into being about you guys teaching each other what to do. Negotiation, same thing. I'd like that stick of gum. It will cost you $400. $400? That's ridiculous. How about $200? We don't care how much the guy actually pays for the stick of gum. Argument is obvious. I don't like that couch. That couch is great. In this case, argument is just automatic naysaying. It is going back and forth, disagreeing with each other, and what didn't I... problem solving. Same thing. How shall we get this wall built? Let us bring this brick over here from that stack. Okay, great. I'm coming with you to bring the brick from that stack and put it over here. It feels like we've got a thing to do, but there's no emotional content. between the players in any of the 4 of those things. And the trick is, to get out of it, the tip is go to your feel. If you realize you made a couple moves into a transaction or an argument or a negotiation, and you've realized that you're there, don't try to backtrack and make it not already have been a negotiation or whatever. Go ahead and continue your negotiation, but really feel something about your partner. Have your character feel something about your partner's character. That'll be $400. You'll charge me $400 for that? It doesn't have to make any sense why that's an emotional reaction. Just let it be an emotional reaction. Same thing, and especially with an argument. The reason an argument doesn't carry any emotional weight is because people are closing themselves off in an argument. They're just trying to get the next best verbal jab in. Whereas if you allow yourself to be really wounded, or delighted for that matter, by whatever your partner says in that argument, then you'll have some emotional grease to slide along that scene a little bit, that analogy. For the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, problem solving, negotiation, teaching, and argument. It's not that you will never get into them. It happens. It's about how you deal with them once you do feel.
Hey friends, thanks for checking out the video, and if you want to hear a little bit more, check out one of these 2 quality videos. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and follow us on social media. All the links are in the description down below, and let me know what you would like to see an improv tip about. Thanks for watching.